Good afternoon. Welcome to episode 1 of what is going to be called Tanda Tula through my lens. My name is Allied and I'm going to be your host from now on. So today is the first day of filming. So let's see what the beautiful Tanda Tula has to offer.
So, to start things off, we've got a Franklin. Well, now it's a spare foul, but I suppose you could still call it a Franklin. So, this Franklin is a Swainson's spare foul. I keep calling it a Franklin. The Swainson's spare foul, and when I came around the corner, what he was doing is a calling, and I suspect that is a territorial call to let other Franklin. There we go. So I suspect what he's doing there is letting other Franklins know that this space is occupied and it belongs to him. So in this part of the reserve we get 3 common spare fowls, and this guy is one of them, being the Swanson spare fowl, Natal spare fowl, and lastly the crested Franklin, which I don't know if it's still called the Franklin or spare fowl, but those are the 3 common ones. And occasionally from time to time we get Cokie Franklin, Shelley's Franklin, even though those are the rare ones, you don't often see them, but nonetheless they still do come through the area. And this tree here is a Mopani tree, and Mopani trees, they've got these butterfly like leaves. They look very similar. I mean, just have to use your imagination and you can kind of make out the shape. But that is not the main reason as to why I stopped here. The main reason is because these trees, the Mopani tree specifically, is one of those trees that during the summer, during the beginning and towards the end of summer, houses a special worm, and this worm is called a Mopani worm. So during the early stages of December, a specific moth will come lay eggs on the Mopani tree leaves, and what happens is those eggs will hatch after a bit of rain or drizzle, whatever, and if the temperature is right, those eggs will hatch, and thousands, hundreds of whatever millions of Mopani worms will populate these trees. And this is where it gets interesting. So of course the Mopani worms need food. Every living thing has to eat, has to excrete, and as a food source, the Mopani worms will start feeding on these trees. And what you find happening is, since there's so many Mopani worms out there, they start I'm gonna call it overgrazing. So they will munch this tree from top to bottom, munch the leaves, not the bark. They're worms, they can't eat the bark. So they'll munch the tree from top to bottom and strip it down. And what then happens is, well, the Mopani worms have no food left, so they have to find other sources of food. And that is when a problem starts. Because these Mopani worms will go feed on some other trees. Earlier this morning, as a matter of fact, I saw Mopani worms in a Tamboti tree. And I don't think that's where they're meant to be. But anyways, I saw them there and they were feeding on that tree, and that was a result of what had happened to their original food source. They had finished that food source, they had stripped the whole thicket down, leaving them with no food. So they had to compromise and find other food sources. So I've just stopped with this giraffe here, and her coloration is what actually got me to stop. So she looks darker than what a normal giraffe would look like. And I believe Chad tried to explain this on Sofa Safari, which if you haven't watched, I'd recommend you go watch it. And to fully enjoy it, you have to start from episode 1 and go end with it on season 3. So, she just moved off the frame. But as I was saying, as you had a look at the other giraffe, oh, that's it now. See, the camera doesn't quite capture how dark this giraffe is. So she's got dark spot patterns. They're not even spot patterns, but she's got dark patterns, and that is, I reckon, it's due to genes, and depending on which which family you come from, you might have dark hair, you might have blue eyes, you might have green eyes. So I think it's the same concept with this giraffes. She just has a more melanin in her body than what a normal giraffe would have. And I'm just gonna pan over to the other giraffe right here. You can see how much lighter this one is compared to the other one. So as I said, I believe it's totally up to which family you come from and which genes you got. I mean, you might come from the same family, but you might not have the same same attributes or same characteristics. It's one of those things. So moving on from all the science stuff, just gonna take a few seconds to sit quietly and watch the sun set behind this magnificent creature. So I'm gonna end this episode with a beautiful sunset. As you all know, there's nothing that beats a African sunset. Like, Africa just transforms during this last few minutes of the day. If you look far into the horizon, you can see the silhouetted mountains, silhouetted clouds, the stars, everything. This is like paradise on earth.